What is going on? I am Johnny Von Duke and you're watching Disney Channel. What the fuck? The Assassin's Creed series, as you can tell, has gone through a lot of various different format changes. Shit, we've had a fucking mobile game right here. We've had another mobile game right down there that was like almost a full-fledged console game. We've had it go to the fucking high seas. We've had it go into the modern era a little bit, into very ancient times, and now we have it in the modern era with all these fucking high-end graphics and shit, and it's just beautiful masterpieces. Mwah. Could deal with a little bit more storytelling, I would say, in Valhalla's case, but you know, take it or leave it, mate. I honestly like Valhalla. I consider it a beautiful game. But yeah, Assassin's Creed has gone through a lot. And honestly, there have been so many formats of Assassin's Creed, I can't even fit it all on one fucking screen for you guys. This is the best way I could figure out how to fucking record this video. And I apologize for how this formatting is done. I will have links. I know I struggle with that, but I promise I'll have it this time, because I would shoot myself before I short-staff other creators. I will have links to all these videos you see playing here, and here as we talk about this. I am trying to have the main feature being me talking, but I wanted video behind all of this. And there's no way I was gonna oh Jesus Christ. Like, guys, the amount of time I would have needed to sit down to like record gameplay for this. We're gonna need to pull out the fair use card for all of its rights and features. There's a reason why I'm in the middle of the screen. You're listening to me. This is all just the ambience, boys. We're gonna have music in the background to vibe and time. I'm Johnny Von Duke. So where do we start? From the fucking beginning, as we all see, Desmond wakes up over there, blah blah blah, he's in Abstergo. I know the gameplay shows it's much later, and it essentially follows good old fucking Altair, the OG assassin, at least as far as game release is concerned, not how it actually ended up in canon. But yeah, we had good old Altair. And oh boy, it was just roaming through the ancient days, fucking fighting the medieval knights of Templar, handling an egg. It was very basic days. And that fighting style was very, I don't want to call it archaic, because, you know, it's there. Obviously it was there. Look at how far we got. Obviously the combat was there. Obviously the parkour was there. But it's just that for a first attempt, yeah, it was there. But for a first attempt, it really personally fell flat with me. Now, I didn't play the game at launch. 3 was my first Assassin's Creed title. Yes, I was that guy. Assassin's Creed 3 was my first title, and I still love Assassin's Creed 3 today, to this very day. We don't have it in the gameplay because I needed to get enough examples to fit the various format styles. And I couldn't just cherry pick my favorite games for, you know, ambience. We need to keep it professional here, and we need to actually have the proper format styles of the gameplay that we're going to be talking about today, and how we eventually rank how it's the best. Should have explained that first. But now back to the OG Assassin's Creed. But again, for a first attempt, it just fell flat for me when I went back and played it for that first time. I have played all these games, by the way. Rest assured. I'm going to sound like a fucking idiot ranting and talking about them, but I have played them all. It's just that, you know, younger me, back when he played through all these games, didn't think to get footage back then. And even if I did, it probably would have been on a shitty iPad camera. So, yeah, you're a lot better off with this method of ambience right now, let me tell you that. But man, it did hit hard though with that world. Like, despite the dated isn't the word, because honestly there's a lot of good textured, you know, areas in the game. There's a lot of good quality textures to everything. But it's just that lighting, man, it kills it. But it is good how it looks. Like, there's high, like, they paid attention to what they were fucking putting on the screen. They really did. But you just notice so much. And to be fair, this is very common with older games. This happens with newer games even too, and we'll bring this up with Assassin's Creed Valhalla as well. And that's kind of a sin of the Assassin's Creed series. You know, you're killing a lot of the... You know, we'll get this out of the way now. For every single game, it's going to be like you're just killing the same guys over and over and over and fucking over again, man. Just so much murdering of the same old generic enemies. Yeah, they're going to be coming in different colored coats. Yeah, their war paint might be in different shapes. But man, it's the same enemies through and through. There's no denying it. Yeah, they shake them up every entry, and it's interesting per game per se. Until you get into the North America region, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So yeah. But that's where the first Assassin's Creed is a little bit different. Those enemies, I can safely say, are unique to that game. You don't see Knights of Templar really running around in any of the other games. You'll get callbacks to it, but you'll never really do it. There's a scene in Assassin's Creed Unity where you are a Knights Templar, but you're never going to be an OG assassin fighting Knights Templar again. Which is really nice and what holds the first AC, you know, to its benefit. The world is good, it's just a shame it has horrible lighting. And this game hasn't really ever been properly remastered, now that I'm thinking about it. And that's a real shame. You know, it's the first game, but it hasn't really gotten a full-blown repolish yet. Which is unfortunate. It deserves the full-on repolish. And it is a good game. The story it is trying to tell, it's good. Like, I love the whole story of, and spoiler alert here, of the mentor gone bad, moving over almost to the bad guy methodology without realizing it. I vibe with the story it was telling, I really do. That twist ending, it was beautiful. And you already got your spoiler alert, so fuck off. But yeah, it's just that it was amazing story-wise. It's just a shame that the gameplay was a little bit clank, man. You know, we think Cyberpunk was clanky at launch. Cyberpunk was bad at launch. We're not going back into that can of worms. But man, you want to talk about clunk? Let me tell you, the control scheme just wasn't smart for this game, in my opinion. Like, listen, I might not be remembering this correct, but it was the worst system ever. Because you didn't have counter, yet you had block. You know, I can't remember if you unlocked counter later on in the story. I really can't for the life of me remember this. It's probably why I should start writing notes before doing these videos, but never been like that. And we never will be like that. It wouldn't be this product of a channel if I fucking did that, if I put professionality behind it. Just wouldn't be right, it wouldn't be me. But yeah, man, it's just a shame for that clunk in that control scheme. But you had to press, like, blocking. There was no counter yet, or at least I don't think at the start of the game there was counter. You might have gotten it later, but I can't remember. Counter might not have... Oh, shit. Now I'm actually realizing it. I don't think Did counter not become a thing till... What was the last Ezio game? Revelations? Did it not become a thing till Oh, I'm just now realizing this. I don't think counter came around till Revelations. I would look that up, but I already have way too many tabs open, and I don't want to crash my computer in the OBS recording, so we're not looking it up to confirm it. You can tell me in the comments below. But yeah, that was the first Assassin's Creed formatting you can see in the beautiful corner over there. Where do we logically transition to next? Well, let's get these bad boys out of the way. Let's talk about some of the mobile offerings, you know, right here behind me on the actual TV screen, and then down here, Liberations. Let's get the garbage out of the way first. Now, this beautiful hot polygon it's not that polygon. It probably looks horrible on your end because you're watching it through YouTube and it's much smaller. than it normally would be when I'm just blown up as the primary image, as opposed to having all these different random images surrounding me. But man, this game is a side scroller. You don't have most of your traditional assassin weapons, and you have the health bar of a fucking snail. Yeah. Enemies will 3-tap you like it's nothing. And then on the levels where they're not very smart, you're running through them like they're butter. I like challenges and I like smooth rides. I don't like the challenges and the smooth rides being a mixed bag. It's not my style. And what was with this India, Asia, Russia bullshit? Mind you, Asia was really cool. I did like Asia. His main character was awesome. The Russia guy had a rifle, which was pretty lit. But it's just like, man, I get it was meant to be a mobile entry that got pulled to console and all that shit later, but Assassin's Creed was never meant to be a side-scroller, and I thoroughly subscribe to that. It was never meant to be a side-scroller. Please, never make Assassin's Creed a side-scroller ever again. Don't ever attempt this ever again. I'm gonna have to wash my TV screen after this. I'm gonna have to clean my TV screen after this. I'm gonna have to clean my whole computer setup after this, because I have this hot garbage fucking playing in the background. That's just the reality of it. It's hot fucking goddamn motherfucking bullshit motherfucking hot damn garbage. Man, I would make a horrible angry video game nerd, but we're not talking about him. So that was that mobile entry. There was another one, but I don't know anything about it, so we're not talking about it. So instead of that mobile entry, I keep pointing the wrong way. What did Liberation offer? Johnny Von pointing the wrong way, Duke. What did Liberation offer? Now, Liberation was in a weird place. It was on the PS Vita, I believe? I played Liberation on the remaster, so yeah. I do believe it came out on the Vita, though. And it was like meant to be a sister title to Assassin's Creed 3. Good idea in theory, except this game was held back by the hardware. Very much a case. I have no issue with its formatting style at all, because it fits in almost perfectly with Assassin's Creed 3. You know, when I was playing it on the remaster, I know it has different mechanics to it, and it has different vibes and feels. You know, you're in New Orleans, you're not in the Northeast, you're in the South. You're playing as a, not necessarily a slave, but a girl with a slave persona who's an assassin. I forget her name. But it's not bad, and it's a good sister title to 3, and I do recommend playing through it. It's just a bitch that it was developed for the Vista originally, man. Like, even after the remaster, you can just see it. This game wanted to be on console, but it was stuck on, you know, it was stuck on the low end. It was stuck on the Boondock Saints type shit, motherfucker. It couldn't get up there. It couldn't hit the Family Guy tier, you know what I mean? It couldn't hit it. It couldn't hit Simpsons tier. It couldn't hit The Simpsons, man. It just couldn't hit The Simpsons. And that's a shame. But for a game that's a mobile of 3, but borrowing a lot of mechanics from, oh man, Liberation is such a hodgepodge, man. Like, you have the persona system, you have different outfits mixed in, you have different weapons. You go on these different missions, there are tons of time skips, which are common for Assassin's Creed games. So their time skips are very common in Assassin's Creed games. Not gonna bullshit you there. But this game has the worst time skips ever. And it does try to tell a good story, where it has, you know, the woman with the mother, and they're both going out at night. One's playing Templar, one's playing Assassin, you know, it's like a whole Batman and Robin flipped on its head type shit. I digged it, don't get me wrong. But it could have been told so much better on a full-fledged console. And I get that we're only talking the PS3 at the time. but the PS3 wasn't no slouch. It could have handled these dual titles, and I get it, it would be moot to the point, you know? That it was always, Liberation was always meant to be the smaller sister title. And mind you, Assassin's Creed, well, Ezio more specifically, Ezio got 3 games, okay? So when we say Assassin's Creed 1 through 3, we're talking about 5 games. Let's make that clear. When we say Assassin's Creed 1 through 3, we're talking about 5 games. Which is fucked entry-wise, but yeah, there's 5 games between the first entry of Assassin's Creed and then the proper Assassin's Creed 3, because Ezio got 3 games. And Assassin's Creed 3 was borrowing heavily off what the first Assassin's Creed and then all the Ezio games established. It was really just an upgrade of those, and then it added in, like, sailing. Liberation didn't have sailing, and Liberation was borrowing off the... I can't remember if 3 was out yet. Let me know in the comments below if these launched at the same time or not. I can't quite remember. I believe one did launch before the other, but I can't quite remember which one was which. I do believe 3 came out first, but it's possible Liberations did. I could be wrong, like I said. I didn't look this up beforehand, and I probably really should have. I didn't even know I was going to be talking about it, because we do completely off-the-cuff videos. Whoa! And it leads to random spontaneous outbursts, because I have ADHD. And, yeah, just what can I say about it, man? It sucks. Because it really was all there, but it's just so held back. PS3 wasn't a slouch. And it's borrowing so much from other games. It's just this hogposh, man. It's this hogposh. That's all I can say. It's a goulash. That's a better wording. It's a goulash. It's the goulash of gaming for Assassin's Creed. And mind you, for something that was trying to take mechanics from the being developed probably only just out 3rd game and trying to take inspiration from the other 4 games already, you know, for the 6th game in the series, it's not bad. But for the 6th game in the series, by technicality, it's not quite the high note it could have been. So how do I feel on Assassin's Creed in the mobile format? Because obviously we know the console format worked. You know, it's kind of moot almost to go over Assassin's Creed 1 through 3, you know, those 5 games. It's almost pointless to go over them because they work as they are. You know, they're proper upgrades, incarnations that build off one another. It's a clear line in lineage, not in... and storytelling a little bit, but you know, in how you expect games to get upgraded with each release. You know, it was very much in line with that thinking. You play those 5 in order, you're not going to be confused. You'll understand it perfectly, how they went down that path and thought process. But Liberation is just that goulash. And Liberation is really the big thing for the mobile format of Assassin's Creed. Air quotes there for mobile, because technically it was on dedicated hardware mobile. You know, it wasn't just your phone. It was on actual hardware. Well, which is good for it, but it's still mobile hardware. Which is bad. Not bad. The Switch is laughing its ass off at me right now, and the Nintendo Steam Deck. Both of those things are laughing at me right now. Hell, Nvidia's various solutions for just turning your phone into a mobile console are laughing at me right now. But I digress. Cloud streaming is laughing at me right now. But we're talking in context of the era it was released. And even after the remaster, boy oh boy, it's just a shame. I do think Assassin's Creed can work on mobile. Obviously, Assassin's Creed 3, air quotes here, remastered, even though it was just the original game put on Switch, because Switch could handle it. Like, I don't know. Obviously, it can. I just don't know if that format is worth it or good for the series, because we see the contractions here. We see the contractions right in front of us live, so to speak. So I don't even know if that's smart. Let me tell you, it really doesn't feel smart to do it on mobile. I get it's feasible and it's doable, I just don't know if it's good for the series. And I know that sounds wild, but you can tell when games aren't meant to be played a certain way, you know? Like, for example, every time I'm streaming a game, we're going to take a break talking from Assassin's Creed for a second, but every time I stream a game, listen, it runs smoothly. It runs to my expectations for streaming. Hence why we always call them cloud streaming tests. You know? Cloud streaming tests. I'm not expecting those games to run right. You know, it comes with the expectations. So, when I'm streaming a game, I know it's not playing right. I know it's not playing like how it would be on the fucking Xbox actually behind me. I know it's not playing how it would be playing on the PlayStation behind me. I know how it's not playing if I just had the Nintendo console in front of me, or if I was just running it natively on the PC to begin with, you know? It's what fucking happens. It comes with the expectations. I was fully expecting that to be the reality. And I'm going to shut my door right now because my family members are getting up and I don't want to bug them. So yeah, that's the thing. So, you just gotta, like, so yeah, for that goulash of a game, we're gonna move on to 4 and the others, because God, we're 20 minutes in and I'm still talking about AC Liberations. I think it's the most we've talked about in Assassin's Creed so far. So yeah, it just doesn't hit the expectations, like I said. It doesn't run right. It just doesn't. It runs good on the remaster because I'm playing it on a Series X or I'm cloud streaming it, you know? A lot of the issues are mitigated, but I have attempted once. I'm pulling this deep from the memory banks because this wasn't even mine. That's why I can't remember what console it released on, because I actually only own it on the remaster. I remember playing it on this native hardware, man, and it was just bad. And I really hope I didn't say I never played it on its native hardware earlier, because that's going to sound... Well, that is a contradiction if I did say that earlier. But I just remembered this out of my memory banks, yo. I just can't help it, but it did not feel right on that hardware. But we'll leave it there with AC Liberation and the mobile formatting of Assassin's Creed games. Tempted to split this into 2 parts, but no, we ain't pussies. We ain't backing out now. Moving on to Odyssey. JK. But no, seriously, let's move on to what I want to call the Odyssey format of games / the Black Flag format of games. Because really, I call it the Odyssey format because, you know, it's all on the water. It's on the ocean. Odyssey. That's a really bad joke. But I don't think I need to tell you, man, that sailing in Assassin's Creed games, ever since it was first introduced in 3, AC3 with Connor, not the 3rd game that released, you guys know what I'm talking about. It just always felt right. You know, it makes sense for an organization like the Assassins to have these ships at their command and at their service. And taking a break from the Creed and playing as a pirate for most of the game, glorious. Glorious bastards. You are lovely bastards for that. Our first real taste, our first real grape flavoring of escaping the motherfucking Creed storytelling. It was just so beautiful. I need more grape soda because this is starting to drag on a little bit here. It was just a beautiful move. You know, you got to play around and fuck with the Templars a little bit as a solo standalone guy. Can't stress that enough. I love the fact that we were a standalone guy fucking with these people, yo. Just hardcore drilling these motherfuckers. And listen, obviously the dual wielding and fighting, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. God, and that's the thing about 4. The difference between 4 and Liberation is Liberation was stuck in a middle spot, so it couldn't be a proper upgrade. 4, it's a definitive upgrade over what 3 was doing. It removes some gameplay features, but this is a case where not only is less is more, but they gave you different things that did different things, you know? In place of a lot of that, you got sailing. And you could go to different cities, you could go to different islands. There were chests stranded on Bikini Atolls and shit like that. It was an excellent time. You could go hunting, spearfishing. Like, what can I say? You could hunt whales and sharks. You could go into undersea wrecks. It was almost like they're... And that's a lie, because I viewed 3 as the first real taste test of the RPG-ness, even though when you always look at it, Assassin's Creed has always had RPG aspects in it, let's be real here. But 3 was the first real taste test to it. 4? Bro, they put their whole hand in and ate it. Man, they're like, if you told me there was a story, I wouldn't have believed you. Because I spent so much time invading ships and spunking hunting animals, it wasn't even funny. And going in undersea wrecks, which probably helped fuel my sub-mechaphobia growing up. But it's whatever. I love the game for it in the best ways possible. Assassin's Creed 4 was a proper upgrade of 3 and everything else they were trying to do before it. And real quickly, before we get to the modern format of Assassin's Creed games, we gotta talk about a format I couldn't fit anywhere, because this is once again a middle spot. Your Unities, your Syndicates. Man, I feel bad for Unity, Syndicate, and Rogue. Assassin's Creed Rogue through Syndicate, or Unity through Syndicate, because Rogue can be placed either or, before or after Unity, even though story-wise, we're talking about release here. That they were meant to release that at the same time. If they did, you know, that's debatable. People say it wasn't available at the same time. Some people say it was. I get conflicting reports. Some people got a hold of shit early. Some people didn't. It's one of those, man. It's one of those. Look up the release history of Assassin's Creed Rogue. Despite the fact it only released on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC, man, that game has a fucked release history. It only released once between 3 consoles, but it has the worst release. Well, that's a lie. It's on PS4 and Xbox One now. Series X and PS5 by default done. But it's just like, man, for a game that at the time only really had 1 version and then 2 ports, it was just fucked. Well, 3 versions then. You know what I mean. It was fucked, the release history, but we're not talking about that. These games that were stuck in the middle, it was brutal for them, honestly. Assassin's Creed Rogue got short-staffed for not the fact it was a lesser Black Flag, but for the fact that we were stuck back in America again, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm an American. I love my country. No, I don't. I am an American, but I hate all you bastards. And I hate all you foreign bastards, too. You're all bastards to me. You're all glorious bastards. Yeah, you're glorious bastards. That's right. I hate you all, but you're glorious bastards who give YouTubers watch time. Not me, but you give other YouTubers watch time, which gives me more ammo. Yeah, more like it. I don't even know. I'm just a depressed fuck in his bedroom. But anyway, these in-between games were really stuck in a weird spot. Because Rogue got short-staffed for the fact that we were in a familiar location, so there was preset expectations for that. And it's a prequel to not just 3, but it's also a prequel to Unity. Which, let me tell you, when they made the full-fledged PS4 next-gen jump, no PS3, Xbox 360 version tied in, that Xbox One jump, oh, it was too early. Because you can see it with Unity. They were trying to do what they would later do with Origins, Odyssey, and Rogue. You can see the different aspects being there. But it was just too early for that. It really was. The Assassin's Creed fanbase wasn't ready to move away from what Black Flag established, and then what Rogue, for what people enjoyed it. It was a good game in my opinion, but for what people enjoyed it, you know. They were kind of locked in there after 2 good titles of that. Even though Rogue was a half step and was an in-between title, it very much was another good sailing title as far as it's concerned. And while we're talking about it, Odyssey itself, I love the sailing, but we'll talk about it when we get to the current gen of Assassin's Creed. But it was just way too early. The hardware wasn't there. And listen, if you had a perfect PS4 at the time, I'm not even talking PS4 Pros, Slims, whatever, like even the base PS4. If you had a new PS4, the game was fine. If you had a new, like spanking out of the box new Xbox One, the game was almost fine. But boy, let me tell you, if your hardware was even a month old, you were hitting spikes. It was not enjoyable. Like, obviously, there was a lot of coding errors behind that, too. Don't get me wrong. The game could have been a lot optimized better on their end, on Ubisoft's end, but it's just like, the fact that and I get that hardware age eventually will always play into how performance goes, how things stutter and jiggle, so to speak. But it's just fucked knowing that your console could have been a week old and it wouldn't have the power to keep up with that game. It was bad. Unity was way too early for what they attempted. Playing it on Series X, I loved it, but at the time, it was definitely way too early for it to do what it did. And as far as its story goes, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it, in my opinion. You know, it's a modern attempt at a love story, so to speak. Take it or leave it. That's all I gotta say. If you want the love story, take the love story. If you don't want it, don't take it. Don't play the game. I don't know what else to say. The game's been out for so long. Sorry. Just don't play it. It's like Last of Us 2 and that can of worms. If you like it, play it. If you don't like it, don't play it. Just shut up, both of yous. I'm tired of still hearing about it despite it being 2022 now. It's bullshit that I'm still hearing about The Last of Us 2. And that wasn't good, was it bad bullshit? Just stop. I played through it. It was average. I don't care. It was an experience. It happened. Yeah, you could have done a Joel game before, but I don't really care. It happened. It happened. Side rant about Last of Us 2. That's the fun thing about these videos. We go down the rabbit holes, boys. We have ADHD outbreaks. But would you love me if I didn't have it, though? That's the real question. But then we get into the next half-step game. And it did what Unity was trying to do a lot simpler. It took what Unity was trying to do, was a lot simpler. It did a lot simpler. It even had a better open world to it. It's a little game called Syndicate. It had a grappling hook. It was epic. Man, that convoluted fucking story, though. Like, that convoluted ass lengthy story. The story of Syndicate sucked proper cockbollocks. Cockbollocks. I'm breaking out the British in me for this one. That Western European, I don't know, and I don't give a shit. My brain can't think at this point. It's the melatonin kicking in. The vitamin gummies are killing me. Anally fisting me. But Syndicate was a good step over Unity. And I get this has become a much more generalized thing, and I'm basically talking about eras of Assassin's Creed now, but hey, it fits in with my formatting thing. It's basically what I was doing to begin with anyway. You're never sure how the video is going to go out until you're doing it. And these clusters of games, while it eventually got good with Syndicate, the fact that they were just stuck in all these half steps for so long, it was brutal for the franchise. It really was. And then finally, without further ado, we get into the big Macaru itself. The modern era of Assassin's Creed. What can I say about the modern era of Assassin's Creed? It's been one hell of a ride. We started out with Origins, we brought it back to the basics, going into the desert. Then we went off into the Greek islands, in the almost the archipelago, in the tropics. And we went on a royal hunt for snake people. And then called it Cosmos. And then we're in Valhalla, where we're just Vikings, and we get pulled into an Assassin's story out of left field. Which is very common for the Assassin's Creed game, but it's even more left field in Valhalla. Which is weird, because you're introduced to the Assassins starting out. It doesn't take long to meet the Assassins, but you getting pulled into their story, it's just the most left field bullshit ever. And I don't like it. But as a format style for the series, how does it do? And here's what I gotta say. It departs majorly from everything the franchise, even Unity through Syndicate, was trying to do, you know? Because even though they took it into different directions, you could still tell they were trying to build off what was previously established, and they were just trying to do the next logical steps and leaps and bounds, so to speak. You get into this, though, and you don't understand what they were thinking. It's good. I love the gameplay, even though each game, annoyingly, once you get into this era, well, every Assassin's Creed game has its own niche to the control scheme, so to speak. But these three have almost completely different control schemes, and it's fucking annoying, and I hate it. It's not universal and easy to hot swap between these three. You'll fuck up your controlling memory so much, your muscle memory. You'll get fucked so easily. You'll get anal fisted so easily that it will bleed vaginally for 3 months. Yeah. That's a thing that will happen if you attempt to hot swap between Origins through Valhalla. You'll get anal fists and then your vagina will bleed, even if you're a man. I hope you are a man, because your vagina will bleed. Rest assured, it will bleed. I'll make sure of it personally. God, we are losing the plot on this fucker. But you get to this point and you just don't know what they were thinking. You don't understand how they got to this mess. Not that it is a mess. It's a mess when you compare the three between each other, but it's not a mess when you're playing them. You know, it feels fine, they feel good, the graphics are beautiful. The gameplay controls, while I said they're all different between the three games, they all do what they need to do for the three games. I can't complain. I can complain that's annoying that they're different, but I can't complain because they all work and do their job serviceably, and I'm not really ripping my controller apart when I'm playing them, so, you know, it's just I fuck up muscle memory wise. I never said it stops me from enjoying these games. No, they work, they're good, they do their business, and they're good quality, beautiful titles. It's just that, man, it's a shame we lost the logical line of progression with the games being upgraded. You know, because you can follow 1 through 3, and then 3 through Liberation, Rogue, Unity, Syndicate, loosely, and you can see the line, even though a lot of it post 4, I forgot to say 4 in that mix, even though everything post 4 was a hodgepodge, was a goulash. You know, you could see the line of progression. We lost that when Origins came out. We lost that when Odyssey came out after, and we lost it even more with Valhalla. We could see the logical build-up on this pseudo it's not a full-on reboot, but the pseudo reboot series, the reboot format, the modern format, we'll call it, I don't even know, we'll call it the RPG format for now, but every part of Assassin's Creed has had RPG elements, even from the very start. And then that kind of leads us to this climactic moment, huh? Which format works for the series? Should it go mobile? Pfft. Should we go back to the original days where it was just running through cities with some light RPG elements throughout an open world? Yeah. Do we stick with 4, where we have it almost be a full-on RPG but heavily story-driven? All games are heavily story-driven, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. There are so many different flavors of Assassin's Creed right now. I can't even fit them all in video at once for you guys. It's impossible. If I tried to do that, you wouldn't be able to make heads or tails of any part of this video. You wouldn't be able to section off and look at the different parts. You wouldn't. It would just be a wall of video game boxes that are like not even the size of what I am right now, like smaller than that. There are so many flavors. You just can't fit every game in here logically and want to talk over them. You can't. I had to do this shit. But there's just so many different formats and eras of Assassin's Creed. It's like, where do you go? What works for the series? What should they go back to? What should they go with? Should they keep going with the modern shit? I know we're going to be getting more Assassin's Creed after this, don't get me wrong, but it's like, I don't know, man. Taking more sips of grape soda as this goes along, but I don't even know. Right, like we've sat here talking about it for 41 minutes now while having ADHD spasms. And it's just like, I'm looking at the screens and I couldn't tell you which I definitively like. Even with this shitty bullshit 2D side scroller over here that I hate. You know, when I have the glasses on, I can see it a little bit. Right, like I don't completely hate this. I can see why somebody when developing it thought it was good and logical to make this. I do get it and I do understand it. It's just, with how many different ways this series has gone, and with the fact that we've lost the line of logical progression at this point, I guess we still have it. But man, the jump from Syndicate to Origins is just killer. It's insane. It's radical. But it's also like Origins isn't a build off of Syndicate. We go back so far in history, and it's like up until that point we were going forward and jumping back when we needed to cover a story basis. You know, Origins was like the Assassins before the Assassins, man, for what they were trying to do. So I don't know if the modern format is the way. Like, I have so many fond memories of Assassin's Creed, like 3 with Connor. That was my first game. That's honestly the format I would prefer, but I'm talking about what's best for the series. I'm not talking about what I would prefer. I'm trying to be logical about this. I'm trying to be unbiased, even though I do have bias. Don't get me wrong. I have heavy bias, but I'm trying to be unbiased. And honestly, what I think would be best for the series, just keep the old games up to date. And if the developers want to go back, let them. But just keep an eye on the old games. You know, keep them up to snuff as much as you can graphically and FPS wise. You know, every 3 years or so, come back to these babies, give them another shine up. There ain't nothing wrong with it. Just keep these games beautiful, People will play them. It's that simple. And here comes the big catch here. If they did go back, would it be as accepted as it was back then? I don't know. Like, we've been going over almost this history of Assassin's Creed loosely for 45 minutes, and I just don't know what would be best for the series. I know this video will probably get algorithmed to hell. I might not even be able to post it with fair use and play here because we've been talking for so long over it. And you guys have been seeing so much material. I don't even know if this video will be able to get up past the feeds. And I won't be pissed if it doesn't. But if this video gets up past the feeds and you guys have watched it throughout all of this, if anyone has, even one person, I don't care if I'm dead and it takes a full 90 years for one person to view this video and this information is all outdated anyway. Tell me what you think the best format for Assassin's Creed would be. Just tell me. Let me know in the comments. I have been Johnny Von Duke, and it is finally time to take it away, other me. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's pretty much a nothing burger, but if you've been watching my channel for all 8 years that's existed, you should know that's kind of what we do here. Anyway, if you somehow found yourself enjoying it, click over here to watch another video, click over here to watch another degenerate video, click here to subscribe to my channel, then click down there for, well, whatever lazy lack of originality content I put there. Anyway, get the fuck out of here, you filthy animal. Goodbye. The assassin... oh, fuck.